The Blackstone, pen with Sidequests. Loading complete.
Rants and Raves, anime style, pop culture, and everything in the Walmart bargain bin. Today, I have Kimmer, as always. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I am doing well. So today is a little bit different for everybody. We're not going to do any solid format. We're just going to talk, kind of do a little bit of shooting the shit together and kind of talking about all the fun things that go in our lives and all the anime we're watching, all the games we're playing, if any. So I'm going to say, let's start with Rants and Raves. I want to do some raves before we get into the ranting energies of the chaos that is our conversations.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to ask you first, what are the first 2 or 3 animes that come to mind that are absolute raves that is not One Piece, because we all know you're a One Piece fanatic?
I would have to say Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
And My Hero Academica, I would say.
Academia?
Academia, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Everyone pronounces it different.
Okay.
I think those are my 2.
Okay. Well, why Hunter x Hunter? Like, I have watched Hunter x Hunter. Well, I watched the original series. I never did watch the newer remake, rebranded version of it. For those of you who don't know, there was 2 series. The first one turned me off, and everyone's kind of like, well, the second one's way better, kind of the Full Metal Alchemist treatment. But as a whole, because the first, I don't know, 2/3 of the original Full Metal Alchemist is actually pretty good. So why Hunter x Hunter?
See, for me, Hunter x Hunter, I liked the storyline of it. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that kind of deteriorates me away from Hunter x Hunter as well, because I want to give some backlash. I want to rave it. It's just, I know there's so many good arcs before that final arc that released, but when the final arc is supposed to be the best arc, it's supposed to be
the end all be all.
Even though the manga was still continuing and they had to end the anime somewhere, you got to end it on like a really good arc, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't click well. It didn't flow well. It just, I just felt super long, like too long for an arc. I don't know if you remember. I don't know, because I never watched the original series, and so I'm not sure how it differs from the original to the new one. And
the original is much slower paced and even more filled. Ugh, I can't talk. So think Naruto, but almost exclusively filler.
Okay.
So they hit story points across the board, but they were desperately stretching and reaching out for things that just made no sense.
For me, there's this one scene, and every Hunter x Hunter fan, every Hunter x Hunter person that watched the newer series, at least, it's like the scene of these stairs. They just need to run up these stairs, but it took them like 4 episodes for them just to run up a flight of stairs because the Nen was too strong and they were scared and they needed to figure it out or what. It's like, it's like a 20 flight of stairs. Just walk up them and do what you got to do. You guys are supposed to be the heroes, hunters, right?
Yeah, like, that sounds like Dragon Ball in the 5 minutes before the Namek blows up and 13 episodes long.
Yeah.
At least there you can kind of say they're moving so fast that time slows down. That's a shitty excuse because the rest of the
very shitty excuse.
The other characters are all talking in normal time. But I mean, there's one scene in one episode where Goku and Frieza are fighting, and everything is so slow that they're like hyper conversing. So that in that little isolation, you could say that would make sense if you did the whole thing. But everything's moving at normal speed the rest of the time, so it's a really poorly told time jump or whatever. And then just to actively just change and be like, oh, I guess my estimate was off.
Just play it off like, oh yeah, maybe the time, maybe it was 10 minutes. maybe I was just joshing you. Not 5, it was 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weak.
And as for Hunter x Hunter, I understand why people like it. I mean, it does follow the traditional shonen formula.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, even all the people who are like, oh, you know, Sho Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist, he's the worst dad ever. Worst dad of anime goes to Gon.
Who?
Hunter x Hunter?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, his dad is by far and away the worst anime dad, period.
Facts. I agree with that. I think I could agree with that heavy. Like, bro just had a kid and just dropped him off and just said, I don't care.
And then spent his entire life watching him from afar, getting all questionably aroused as his son got stronger?
Yeah.
Question mark. So what do you like about it? What's the rave about it? What do you love about it?
What I love about Hunter x Hunter now is how goofy and childish it is at points, but then how serious it can get at some points, because it's just these kids, you know, Gon and Killua just trying to become their stronger selves. And, you know, there's those funny, goofy moments, but then when they get to the serious moments, they're serious. And, you know, it's Gon finding his full potential, you know what I mean, with his name. Spoilers alert, if you haven't watched Hunter x Hunter, you know what I'm saying. It's Killua getting his Godspeed form transformation, like all of those things I loved, and they needed it in the anime and the manga for it to be that good. And in that, I will say that even some of the arcs before that final arc were good arcs, but once you get to that final arc, it just ain't it. But I think it is a good anime, like from the first arc to like the third, fourth arc, and then it starts getting kind of iffy about it.
It does have the story fatigue syndrome that a lot of long running anime suffer from. Fairy Tail is one of those. They have 2 filler arcs that I just like. Even if I were to go back and rewatch the series, I would skip those entire arcs. Like the Zodiac arc, which was 100% filler, fucking garbage. It has a funny beginning, it has a mediocre ending, and the rest of it is trash. Like it is a complete waste of time. You learn nothing about the characters. You quite literally don't need to know anything other than the very last part, which makes sense later on. But the other 20 episodes or however long it was, just complete waste of time.
That's good to know that now that when I watch it, to skip that arc.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna watch it, make sure you're doing something in the background. Fold some laundry. Do chores. Because that way, if something does make you laugh, you're not gonna miss it. But you're not so invested. You go, oh, I want 5 hours of my life back. Right. And Hunter x Hunter suffers from that kind of story fatigue, because if you sit down and watch all of Fairy Tail, if you watch it in bits, it's easily digestible. You can watch it, you know, every day, like a couple episodes every day, whatever, no big deal. But if you binge it, there are some arcs that are fucking fantastic. And then there are some other arcs you're just like, oh, I need a break, you know, because true to the shonen formula, you have too many people yelling the same thing every 5 minutes. And it gets very tiresome and just drains you of energy. So yeah. That's kind of my take on what I see Hunter x Hunter as. The reason why I like it, like, I haven't watched all of it, I'll admit, but you're right. It does go from like silly to serious in a very real way, because it is from the child perspective, where their life is mostly sunshine and rainbows and fun stuff. And then when something serious happens, it hits you like a truck. And that kind of storytelling with those characters works. You know, the one of the things that I both like and simultaneously hate about Naruto is that it started off as a fun series about a guy who wanted to be a ninja. He wanted to be accepted. And as the character grew, it becomes incredibly dark, which I don't mind. But what I hate is when it's all dark, serious, and you've morphed away from the childlike innocence into this, you know, very serious world. And then out of nowhere, they decide to throw a comedy episode at you, and it doesn't feel right. It doesn't land right at all. And I will give One Piece that, because that is lighthearted and silly throughout the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
whether
when it
what,
needs to get serious, it hits the serious points very well.
yeah,
There's no comedy. There's no nothing in it. I mean, there's like the small moments of like a one-liners here and there that like that was kind of funny in the serious moment.
yeah.
But no, yeah, it hits the serious points well, and they do it very well.
And to touch on pop culture, for those of you guys who don't watch maybe a lot of anime who are listening, if you look at, say, Star Trek, it's very serious. You know, there's a couple of comedy moments throughout the series. And then you look at the Orville, which was inspired by Star Trek, because Seth MacFarlane is a huge Star Trek fan. And the Orville is essentially how I envision the human race in space.
Mm-hmm.
They're laughing, they're drinking, they're joking, they're dating, they're breaking up. They're having drama while doing something serious, because the day-to-day monotony needs that. And I think that's one of the reasons why the show is very good, is because it takes this classic sci-fi premise and actually puts more of a realistic touch on it. And they very clearly have a scope of what they want to tell. And it's like I said during our anime rumble, if the anime knows what it is, it's a good anime. It might be hot garbage, but it knows what it is, you know?
Thanks.
So I feel like Hunter x Hunter, for me at least, just it suffered from story fatigue, and it just kind of ran out of gas. And whether you have the strength to continue on really just depends on your take on anime, because for me, I don't have a lot of time to binge. So if I'm going to invest in a long series, I want it to hit. Otherwise, I just drop it.
Which makes sense, because like I think like longevity of just good released episodes will obviously keep you coming back, because obviously we're getting older. It's a lot harder for us to binge watch anime, sit there for 3-4 hours and actually watch 10 episodes, 12 episodes. It's really hard. We only get time for 1 or 2 episodes here and there. Occasionally we can get that third or fourth one in, you know what I'm saying? But it's, I definitely can understand how you feel on that for sure.
Yep. And then for, so shoot, what was the other anime? My Hero Academia. Now, I will openly admit, when that first hit the scene, I was like, why? I couldn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't watch it. I literally didn't watch it until the My Villain section, which is
My Villain.
I hated it. It was so bad. That's my personal opinion.
I hated it too.
I didn't like it because they tried making you feel for the villain when a simple couple episode backstory would have done, rather than an entire season of why.
When you literally don't even see the main characters.
Exactly. So, and there I go saying negative things about anime again. It makes it sound like I'm a crusty old man. I'm really not. I really did enjoy My Hero Academia. The way it started, the way it felt, and the way the story progressed very well. And I did watch all of it from start to finish when I did start it. And when I was doing research for the Anime Rumble, there's a couple of animes I've continued watching. Some of them I've dropped. But My Hero Academia, I've watched all the way up till the end of the My Villain. And I was like, I really don't want to watch this. And then I caught a couple of glimpses here and there, and it's like, oh, you found out what happened to this character, but it happened off screen. You found out what happened to this character. You're never going to see them again because reasons. You know, they stopped taking out the essential parts of the story. They started taking the essential parts of the story out, rather. And just saying, okay, we're going to focus on the core after focusing on the world, which seemed like a really weird choice to me. Now, I will admit, I'm probably going to go back when they do Vigilante, because while I don't know much about it, my wife is saying, like, if you loved, before My Villain, you will love Vigilante. I'm going to wait and see. For me, it's basically, I'll probably watch it when it's done. I'm not going to chase the hype. But the character designs are fantastic. The fact that almost everybody has a quirk and that uniqueness is put into every character. And that is definitely inspired from One Piece.
100%.
One Piece has that kind of mentality. In my personal opinion, My Hero Academia just has better aesthetics. I just prefer the art design.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I really like it just because you actually see the story of a kid who had nothing, that wanted to be a hero but he couldn't. You know what I mean? And I just really like those kind of stories because
The
I
underdog
like to try
stories.
to. I like to try to relate it to my life a little bit. Everyone kind of doubts me, saying I'm not gonna do this, blah blah blah. And then I turn around and do it. You know what I'm saying? Prove them wrong, which is
Yep.
typical life
And
sometimes.
and it is a very anime thing. It's not even a shoujo thing. Because I mean, you look at any of the Gundam, the mecha animes. It's always a teenager. It's never a guy who's been training for 20 years. It's somebody
Right.
who's given an opportunity and had to learn fast. And a lot of people can relate to that because how many times have we been at a job? Oh shit, I need to learn a new thing. Or, you're at school and you're taking a brand new class. Oh shit, I need to learn a new thing. You don't have 20 years to train. You get 6 months and that's it.
That's
And
it.
that's one of the reasons why I always look at the backstories. This is one of the reasons why I hated Black Clover. Because Black Clover, Asta doesn't have a backstory that drives him other than he can't use magic. But then he can. And what he does with that is try to continue proving himself by yelling really loudly. Naruto was given power that he didn't want because he was too young to understand. He was just born, right? Then he was frowned upon the villages, and then his best friend betrayed him. But he's so stubborn that he feels that his way is the only way and it'll work. The only thing I don't like about the Naruto story is he gets everything he wants.
That's fair.
He gets to meet his parents and talk to them after he becomes a ninja worthy being of Hokage. He gets to be Hokage. He gets, the girl in a relationship. He gets his friend back. And he saves everyone and everyone gives him the respect and everything. That to me is too anticlimactic. Because it's predictable. Because if you're like from the first episode, he's going to get everything he wants. Why do you want to watch the journey? Right?
That is true. That's true.
So One Piece, I hope they find the One Piece, but I hope Luffy never gets it.
Wow, you're gonna disrespect my goat like that? That's crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
I think based on his character growth from what I know, I don't think he should want it. I think he should want to give it to the person who needs it.
Yeah. Well, and
sacrifice
there's speculation that the One Piece really isn't even treasured. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We can save that for yes. But no, I can see where you're coming from for sure. I could definitely see where you're coming from.
I'm one of those people, like, unfortunately, I think and analyze very fast. So when I watch a horror movie or anything like that, I've already got it solved in the first 15 minutes. And
Me too.
And if I end up being right, I end up being really angry. So for me, I like to enjoy things. One of the things I didn't see about My Hero Academia was I thought that All Might was going to find a way of reclaiming his former glory so that he and Midoriya could be a duo. Didn't happen.
No.
I thought Midoriya was going to be the only one to stop All for One. The way it's going, that's not even close. So I like that storytelling. The problem with you go with the Black Clover is it's so rudimentary basic and there's no atmosphere. So the comment I made during the Anime Rumble, to quote Fairy Tail again, was when he walks into the Black Bowls and you have the scantily clad alcoholic and you have, they have all their personality quirks. It's just like when Lucy walks into the Fairy Tail Guild, but there's no atmosphere. They're all just rowdy and loud. Whereas when she walks in there, yes, it's rowdy and loud, but the people who are there give it a different atmosphere. So when she walks up to Mira Jane, it's a different atmosphere. Mira Jane is like everyone's big sister. Natsu's loud and obnoxious, right? So yeah, I'm ignoring that.
I'm just kidding. Oh no, my headphones! I apologize.
No, I killed Kimmer. No, I like atmosphere and substance. I'm a very character driven person, and if there's no atmosphere around it, it doesn't feel right. Which is why you look at any anime. So you look at Hunter x Hunter. You look at the first 2 arcs. They feel right. Like they land right. You look at My Hero Academia, they're in school. They're being sent out to do their quirk things once they get to the Hero Academy. But they've already done X amount of years in regular school learning, reading, writing, what society's like and stuff like that. And then they can choose to go to the Hero Academy and train to be a hero. And in that sense, they're being put in through their training zones. They're putting through, find the purse snatcher, very basic things so that they're used to their quirks and on how they can be a hero. That makes sense to me. In Naruto, everyone's in a ninja village in that village. The hidden villages, although everyone knows where they are, they're not exactly hidden.
True.
The hidden villages, if you wanted to be a ninja and you don't live there, you go to the hidden ninja village of your specific country to become a ninja, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are there studying to be a ninja. They were not allowed to do any ninja exercises until I think Naruto's 12 or 13 when the Ninja Academy ends.
Yeah, I think 13.
And even then, what's the first jobs they're doing? They're gardening, they're trying to find a lost cat and, shit like that. So when you have that kind of world built up, you have to make sure that it lands right and it flows right. So that's kind of why I like My Hero Academia. The villain saga didn't land well with me because it felt both too long and rushed. The way I would put it is very similar to the way that I put the Joker in Suicide Squad with Jared Leto. And not only was that an awful portrayal, but they either should have used him way less or way more. He sat in that middle ground where it was just like, why are you here? You're not a main bad. You're not a main bad guy, but you're not a main character either. But you have a lot of screen time. Why? So that's the kind of gray area that I look for. And to be fair, there's no perfect anime. I can gripe about every single anime out there. I can praise every anime out there, except for the new Berserk. I will never ever praise that one. The animation is terrible. The storytelling was atrocious for something that was already established and been done twice. And on the third time, the third incarnation of Berserk, the worst.
Yeah, it was terrible.
So, as for me, my rants and raves, I've really, really been kind of watching just a lot of random stuff. I'm gonna go back to Mushoku Tensei. I have to say I am really impressed with the way the season is shaping up.
It's so good.
And the fact that he is having this inner turmoil that is actually actively affecting his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's trying to hide it behind the selfish part of his nature. But that's not actually it. He wants to mend himself. And as an advocate of mental health, I think that's fantastic. Because how many of us have a mental problem that we run away from by attacking another problem?
That is true.
I'm pissed off and upset, so I'm going to clean. Well, why don't you go and deal with the thing you're pissed off and upset about? No, I'm cleaning. It's kind of mental health ADHD kind of weird thing. And the story told is fantastic, but at the same time too, it's moving at an awkwardly slow pace to the rest of the series, which I find kind of. Part of me feels it's like refreshing because he's in a new locale and new things happening, and the other part of me is used to the story moving at a continuous rate, and I'm wondering when the other shoe's going to drop, and I hope that it's not we're done.
Yeah, I'm hoping not either. I hope we get a long season. I hope that with the season how it's going, yeah, you're right. It is kind of going a little slower, but I'm actually, like you said, it does feel a little refreshing because you're not getting a bunch of information thrown at you that you actually want. You're actually getting small introductions from other characters, seeing how Rudy develops as an actual character himself, and that he does have problems and that he's trying to fix them as a normal person, as a person that is trying to better themselves to become a man or become, just a better person for himself. And I really like it. And that's when I was like, when I started watching this anime, I was expecting a lot of action, and the first season, there really isn't a lot of action. It's just mainly story. And I was just like, wow, like this is really good. Like this story is amazing, and it flowed so well. Everything just went so perfectly, and that's why I really like this anime. So I'm with you on the rave on this anime for sure.
Yep.
I'm on the hype train.
And that's just it. You get to these animes that aren't the traditional shonen, shoujo, mainstream, meant to make money and sell copies. I mean, obviously all of them are, but you look at your Dragon Balls, you look at your One Pieces, you look at your Hunter x Hunter, your Black Clover. They're all super long series meant to just generate money. Storytelling comes secondary, tertiary, or even further beyond that. So we all know that that's what we're expecting. We're not going to go and watch One Piece or Dragon Ball or
Why not?
anything and expect high intelligent storytelling. It's just not going to happen. You are there to be entertained because it is entertaining.
I'll say though, I will push back on the One Piece one just a little bit. The story, might be, I don't know. In my opinion, the story is there. What I think that it's like, what the story is just kind of missing is it needs a little bit of that new factor of you just need to like, I think, and I'm not trying to spoil anything for One Piece watchers, but I think the arc that's about to be animated, because obviously in the manga they've moved on in the art that's being animated currently. I think this next arc is that switch, and I just hate how long it took, because I think it's just trying. I think Oda, the creator, is just trying to go with the flow of current time, like current generation of anime and what people want and what people. And I think it's great though, because it's shaping his anime and his animation perfectly. And for an anime to go on this long and to find some new stuff is super hard. But I think this next arc will flip that story part. I mean, I know you don't watch it, and I know you're not like an advocate fan of it, but if you were to watch it, and the arcs do change, stuff does happen, things are different, but I think it's the world building. I think it's the just the backstory of the characters as well. You know what I mean? Yep. And just how they kind of all mesh together. I think it's, in my opinion, the greatest piece of fiction written ever. Samuel L. Jackson. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that you could push back on, and that's just my opinion.
Well, again, there's no such thing as a perfect anime. No. There just isn't. No. And
except for One Piece. No, I'm just kidding.
One Piece, I actually enjoy the fact of how much the fans love it, because it is world building. The storytelling is not the best storytelling, but it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be, Oscar worthy, like super niche, condensed perfection and all this shit. It's just not. Right. But it wouldn't have lasted very long if the world wasn't interesting and the characters weren't interesting. Does it have some shitty episodes? I'm sure it does. Over 1,000 episodes. Over 1,000 episodes, it damn well better. If it doesn't, it would be a masterpiece in terms of perfection. However, when it comes to storytelling, if you're not able to flip the switch, as you put it, it does become kind of very dry. In fact, One Piece is not the longest running anime of all time.
It's not.
Do you know what is?
Conan, Detective, right? There's even one longer?
Conan has been running longer than One Piece. It doesn't have more episodes, but it's been running longer. There's one anime that has been running longer than any other anime.
What anime?
Doraemon.
Oh, Doraemon. Okay. I was going to say Doraemon or Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball stopped a few years ago, so obviously it's not. Doraemon makes a lot of sense.
Doraemon is a kid's show, for those of you who don't know. It's for preschoolers. It's Purple Animated Cat. It has been around since I want to say mid-70s.
Wow.
The longest running franchise, if I'm not mistaken, and feel free to correct me down below. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. The longest running series, I think, is actually Gundam now.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Longest running franchise, I think. But for those of you who are listening to for the first time, I do shit on One Piece a lot just because Kimmer loves it, and I don't. So for those of you who are wondering, that's why I shit on it. It's not that I hate One Piece, it's just I like annoying him because it's fun. My second rave is got to be like for this year is got to be Kenshin. It was one of my all-time favorite animes. Watching, my wife got me into it. I went to go see her in 2000, and it was playing on TV there in Spanish because the Mexicans dub everything. So there was tons of anime that I had never even heard of that my wife was watching in Spanish for years. And so I was like, what's this? And she's like, oh, it's Rurouni Kenshin. I'm like, this looks kind of neat. And I asked a friend of mine about it. And this shows you how old I am. A friend of mine talked to his girlfriend, who talked to her sister, who was part of the anime group at her college. And they were fan subbing all of the episodes, minus all of the intros and outros in the late 90s, it would have been early 2001, I think I got these. And so she set up an FTP server on the college dorm for me to download one episode a night. And I downloaded all 96 or 98 episodes in old school real player media files, like the old .rm files.
Yeah.
They were like this big on the screen then. And my wife's like, what do you think about the music? And I'm like, I don't have any intros or outros. So she sent me all of them because my wife used to collect a lot of J-rock and J-pop. Now it's all on Spotify, of course. That's where I got into Siam Shade. And like the openings and endings are fantastic. I don't like the opening of the new one. But when I started reading the manga, the last episode after the last filler arc of Kenshin, when it got canceled, is actually the transition episode to the last and final arc, which is the best part of the entire manga. And then they did an OVA to kind of recap it. And if you've never read the manga, you have no idea what's going on because it's like 2 hours worth. And you're like, oh, you can't condense, I don't know, 12 to 18 volumes of manga into 2 hours. It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
They tried doing all of that with Akira in 2 hours. And so the remake that they're doing, already the characters that were not in the first one are appearing. The way things are happening is actually manga faithful. And Karu herself is nowhere near as annoying as she was in the original anime. Now, I hate the dub of Samurai X. It is one of the worst dubbed animes fucking ever. And I will never say that.
I agree with you.
The Japanese one is just perfection. But Karu's voice actress, the way that Karu was done in the anime was very needy, high school, annoying, clingy. And while she has that temperament, you never get to really see her swordsmanship personality. The way the new series is marrying them together, the way that they had in the manga, is she comes across as being a young woman who does have those emotional, outbursts and everything like that. Like a 18, I guess she's 18 now in this one because she was like 16 in the original, I think. Those outbursts still come out, but she's not always crying and needing to be the damsel in distress, which is exactly why you like her in the manga.
Right.
I am very curious to see what their cast on Saito is. Now, the original voice actor passed away, like 15 years ago. None of the original cast were invited back for the new one, so they're all new voices anyway. But even the zaniness of the original one was toned down. Like Kenshin's Oro is much more down to earth. Like it's more kind of perplexed and as opposed to really silly and goofy, which I like because it actually matches the tone of what they're trying to do. The original one did too, but if you're gonna change it, change it. My only rant about it is that I have and I can't verify this because I haven't seen anything on it, is I don't know how the seasons are going to be split. I don't know if they're going to do 13 block seasons of, 2 halves, or if they're going to do a full 26 and then not do anything for like 2 years, or if they're going to do the full series from start to finish and just have their standard holiday breaks where they take like 4 weeks off or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, because the series is very long, but you cut out. So the manga, the original series followed faithfully pretty much up to the end of Shishio. And then the 2 arcs after, where you have the Knights and the Christians, that's filler.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good 30-ish episodes of the original series that was just filler. And then when they got to the Anishi arc, that's where it got canceled.
Oh,
so there's
unfortunate.
So if you do by episode count, and they are condensing the story a little bit, making it more streamlined. And I got another rave for this in just a second. I just remember this. If you do it that way, it'll still probably run 100 episodes. But the last 60 is going to be the Inishi arc, which you need.
That should be dope.
My absolute rave flow is how, like in the original Kenshin, they didn't have the budget to do proper choreographed fight scenes. It was the 90s. You just pump out episodes left, right, center. So it's a lot of sword swinging and little flashes of face. In this Kenshin, you're seeing the sword fights.
It's beautiful.
And there are some sword fights in the manga that I wished had been animated, and I am so hoping we get to see those. And not only that,
I think we should. I think this anime should be around for. I think they should actually with this remake. I just don't see them not completing it with this remake. If they do end up canceling it, it's got to be for something super drastic. Yeah. I feel like I just don't see them reviving a series. Like they finished Full Metal Alchemist to the manga completely. You know what I mean? With Brotherhood and shit. And so it's like I just don't see them doing that again. It like Hunter x Hunter, it was different. The manga author got super sick. He has health issues for years and years and years. Like that's drastic. That's drastic. Well, the author doesn't have obviously he has some say, but he doesn't really have he's not getting royalties from it. Like if he gets sick, I'm sure they'll still have anime episodes pumping out or something.
Oh, well, the series is done. He's been shamed for all of his stuff. You can look it up. I'm not going to get canceled by mentioning his crap on there. Right. It was legal until 2011, and then it wasn't legal, and he didn't do anything about it. So, true. And then of course the internet blew everything out of perpetuated. Went way further than it. Still awful, still terrible. Don't condone it. So don't come after him for that. But there's a lot of stuff that wasn't true. And it's my understanding he's just consulting as kind of like an art director. So basically he's being paid peanuts if he's getting paid anything at all. And then of course he just gets his credit for being the creator because can't not.
Right. He's the creator.
Yeah. But the anime coming out right now, I'm kind of sad that there's so little anime coming out right now. I know a lot of studios are still recovering from COVID and licensing and Disney getting in there and TV Tokyo getting in there and a whole bunch of distribution and all that logistics stuff. But I am kind of impressed with the quality of anime coming out. There was one anime that was really fun to watch, and it's one of the more unique takes on an isekai, your favorite genre. And it's called I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and It Helped Me Dominate in the Real World or whatever. I forget the actual title of it. And basically this guy inherits the house from his dad or his grandpa. His siblings are pissed. His aunt and uncle are pissed. They hate him. He's chubby and useless and whatever. And after his grandpa dies, he goes to school. He gets bullied and beaten up, and then he goes to the convenience store to pick up something, and he saves a girl from being assaulted. And then he goes home, and he's just miserable. And he finds a secret doorway in his grandpa's house that was given to him that leads to another world. So he goes to the other world, And he's like looking around at all this stuff, and he can, see all the stats, just like Sword Art and stuff like that. It's very video game-esque.
Right.
And then his body reacts, and all of a sudden he gets a massive glow up, because you gotta have massive glow up, right?
Right.
And then he goes back to school, but he's able to use his skill set in both worlds.
Oh, that's OP.
And he can just basically cross the border whenever he wants. Like,
That's
he just
sick.
goes through the door, goes back and forth. And this is how his grandpa, we're assuming anyway, they haven't got to that part in the story. The first season just ended, but he can trade items from the alternative world for real life Japanese cash without even going to the bank or anything.
Oh shit.
So he just, I don't need this anymore. Oh, it's 500,000 yen. So it's a very fun take. The princess is annoying as fucking hell and needs to be run over by a steamroller. But there's always one annoying character in every anime.
Always one annoying character.
Always one. So yeah, it's kind of fun seeing this quality anime coming out. I always give anime a 1 to 3 episode try. If I'm really not feeling anything, I only watch the 1. If I'm like, it could be good, I'll watch 3. And
I'll
then
give it 3. I always give it 3.
And then if by the 3rd one I'm not hooked, I walk away. Because that's
I'll watch
an hour.
it for an hour.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I said I'll watch it for an hour, and if I didn't like it like a normal show, I'm just gonna turn it off. It's just like one episode.
Yep.
It's just like one normal episode of a normal. I'm saying.
Yep.
So if I don't like it, beep. I'll watch something else.
All right, so a little bit to pop culture. I know that our podcast is supposed to be all pop culture, and we do an awful lot of talking about anime because, hey, we're anime fanboys. Well, I'm an otaku, you're a weeb. Deal with it. So pop culture, let's do... Have you seen any good movies, like sci-fi movies or fantasy movies, or even TV shows for that matter? I talked about the Orville recently. So
Yeah. Recently, yes, I actually have. I watched what was it called? It was... Oh my God, I gotta ask my friend what it was.
Couldn't have been that good then.
It was like good, but it was bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, like Tremors?
Yes, it was like good, but it was bad. Well, actually, I will say, I mean, this movie is kind of old. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I really love that movie. Fast X was really good. I guess some movies I'm excited for. Could I go with that? That are coming out?
By all means. Yeah. What do you got?
Blue Beetle. Oh my God, this movie looks phenomenal. It looks amazing. It looks funny. It looks action-packed. It looks amazing. DC might have got themselves a nice little movie with this one. I'm really excited for Blue Beetle. It comes out, I think, in 2 days. If not, it comes out next week. I'm also really excited for the TMNT movie. That movie looks so funny, and I know it's supposed to be for kids, but I'm still going to be in the movie theater watching it because it looks so good. It looks, and it's like it has so many references to actual real life, like anime and stuff like that, that it's like I have to go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just looks so good. So I'm very excited for those two to come out. I don't think there's much more like Marvel or pop like movies coming out or shows because of the writer's strike. Right. If anyone doesn't know what the writer's strike is, it's where all these writers and people are like that then in the union aren't getting paid a fair wage, and so they are fighting back, wishing to get paid more. But the production companies are pretty much giving them the FU button, and they're not working with the union and working with the people. So no one's working anything. No shows are getting produced right now. No writers are writing any future shows. So we're at a huge standstill, and like Sony pushed back, like Kraven the Hunter is supposed to come out this November. It's not coming out until next August now. Like that's how far they're pushing back movies and stuff like that. So I'd say Blue Beetle, TMNT, I'm super excited for. I haven't watched a lot of like pop culture shows and movies lately just because I've been super busy and I have to have like time to sit down and watch them for an hour. You know, I only have really time for like watching an anime episode here and there, but I do got a little bit more free time now. If you want to recommend me a show to watch, I'd do it now because I'll watch it and then I can give you updates every week, every time we pod, man.
Okay. I'm going
Which
to give you
show?
2 recommendations.
Okay.
All right. Live action. Watch The Orville.
Okay.
All right. I think it's on Disney Plus. At least it is up here in Canada. Second, for anime, watch Full Metal Panic.
Full Metal Panic. I think you keep telling me to watch that.
You watch season 1. You watch Fumufu, which is the comedy little intersection. Basically, they wrote it literally just as a prelude to the second chapter. Watch the second chapter, and then if you're brave enough, watch the third season. Now I keep repeating this. The third season, I did not like. The creator got really sick. Lots of other logistic background stuff. I'm not sure entirely what. I think it was licensing issues and stuff. They did get the original voice cast back, but the animation was way different because now you're 15 years removed.
Yeah.
And it's not as bad as Berserk, but it is a terrible blend of traditional animation and digital animation that just doesn't work.
Okay.
I had a hard time getting through that. It's 13 episodes long, and episode 5 is a recap of the first, or episode 6 is the recap of the first 5 episodes. I was like,
nice.
And yet, you will love Sosuke and Chidori. You will absolutely love them.
Okay.
And again, annoying characters in there too. For a kind of a slapstick take on a mecha genre anime, it's really good. Okay. So try watching those 2. I want to see what you think. Okay. Full Metal Panic is one of my favorites just because the music track is so good. It fits the series. The characters are definitely different to everything else. And when it gets dark, it drives home hard.
Okay.
Other than that, I probably have like a fucking list like a mile long. My wife has a to watch anime list, and I think I'm at 307 animes that I have to watch still. I've got a bunch that I have to catch up on, but I mean, for a long period of time, I worked a lot, so I didn't get a chance to watch anything.
Right. And I looked up Orville, only 3 seasons?
It's only 3 seasons, yep.
Okay, I can watch it on Hulu, Disney Plus, out here. I'm looking up Full Metal Panic where I can watch it. I'll actually start Orville tonight.
Okay.
I'll make that deal. I'll watch the first episode tonight before I go to bed. Obviously I'll give it that one episode, if I don't like it, I'll come let you know. If I like it, I'll let you know, and then I'll watch more of it, and then hopefully I can watch enough episodes to where we can actually talk about it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me put it to you this way. It's not Family Guy in space, even though it is Seth MacFarlane. And it's not it is taken inspiration from Star Trek, but it is not Star Trek.
Okay.
So think quality wise, probably the same as like The Next Generation in terms of the quality of TV that it is, and then go from there. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. And there, for those of you who know Seth MacFarlane, and if you're going to join Kimmer on this journey of watching the Orville, the amount of cameos throughout the entirety of the show and people who he has worked with on other projects is just absolutely fucking brilliant. Also, Norm Macdonald, we miss you, buddy. But yeah, those are my recommendations for you. As for me, I haven't watched a whole lot of anything recently. I literally haven't watched a lot of new content. I've been mostly doing...
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Ahsoka. It comes out next week. First 2 episodes of Ahsoka, the Star Wars series, focusing on her. And after the Order, I believe. It's
after the Order, yeah.
I think it's after Anakin becomes Vader and all that shit.
It's after her. I think it's after her arc in Clone Wars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I do believe so. I'm so excited to watch this, man.
So yeah, I am a geek and I am a nerd, and I can argue to the death about Star Wars, Star Trek, anime, video games, you name it. But for some reason, and don't come after me in the comments, guys, I can't get hyper passionate about things that are already on the hype train. So like when Lord of the Rings came out, I'm like, I'm going to watch these movies because they're the inspiration of all the fantasy novels that I love and grew up reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I refused to go and see them opening weekend or in those cases, even opening month, because I didn't want to deal with that hypey energy of like, I don't mind talking with people, but when you get super nerds who are super conflicty and gatekeeping, I'm like, I'm out. Peace out.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't jump on the hype train, but I love Lord of the Rings. I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. But I am not the guy who's like, oh my God, I need to see it. Right. So
right.
It's
I'm definitely one of those guys. That's for sure.
I am very much one of those kind of reserved nerds. You know, I learned to be a wallflower and I stay a wallflower. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that was nice. I like that.
That's fair. Just kind of like what people would say, just a normal anime fan, not a crazy or sci-fi, just huge fan.
I'm an otaku because I absorb shit and I have a lot of fucking facts up here. I just don't force it on people.
That's fair. That's super fair. That's super fair.
That's the way I look at it. I love talking about stuff like our whole discussion about Final Fantasy a couple weeks ago. We were just firing off on that. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of video games, oh, that was a great segue. Way to go, me. What games? Let me ask you a two-part question. What games are you excited to play now that you have a little bit more time? And what games are you excited to go and replay now that you have a lot of time or a little bit more time?
Well, I would say I'm probably going to go back to Final Fantasy 12 and try to 100% complete the game. I want to platinum it. I want to get all the achievements. I want to get everything, level 100, everything. I've never done that before. I'm close. I started it and I just need to go and actually finish it now.
Right.
And I still need to finish Final Fantasy 16. It's so long and so much fun. And I don't want it to end. I didn't want to rush it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be one of those. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 reveal event comes out tomorrow. I'm super excited for that. I'm probably going to watch it because obviously I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. So I've been playing a lot of that. I've been getting recently back into League of Legends again.
Me too.
I've only played like a few ARAMs here and there. I'm getting back into CSGO. There's been some games I've been getting back into. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon still. A lot more Pokemon. I'm trying to. I didn't want to make this announcement yet, but I feel like the time is right now. And I was going to announce it on my podcast, but I'm going to announce it here because it's just this right. I'm going to try to become a Pokemon professional player for the VGC, the video game video game championship. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
I want to try to get an invitation to Worlds, and the way to do that is you need to get 300 points, which is actually kind of hard.
I would assume so.
But easy enough. You got to do a couple tournaments to kind of get placing and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's going to be a grind for sure. But I'm going to try my hardest to become a Pokemon professional and at least make it to Worlds. That's my overall goal. It's just make Worlds. I don't care how I get there.
The hope of NA.
Yeah, the hope of NA. I just want to get there, and then I can work on. I need a place here. I need to win the damn thing.
Yeah.
I just need to get there first, and I know I can. Well, I believe in myself.
To quote one of my favorite content creators for League of Legends, which I was just referencing for those of you who don't follow the SLS, is Broxa, and he said, if you're going to be pro, don't even try being pro until you reach Challenger. Then try to be pro. Because he got lucky because he knew somebody who was already kind of founding a team, and when he became Challenger in his senior high school year, they said, hey, would you like to? But only because he knew him. So it's also a question of who do you know, and you don't get to know anybody if you don't go to tournaments, if you don't go to events.
Exactly.
And then you have to put in the grind. So I'm excited for you, dude. I really
Thank you.
I really think that if you put the work in, you're gonna get there. I mean, I know shit about Pokemon. It came out when I was in high school, so for me it was a little baby game, so I never played it.
Fair.
But I know watching the esports scene how hard it is to be pro in any game. Doesn't matter if it's Smash Brothers, League of Legends, Dota, Call of Duty, Valorant, Pokemon.
Right.
You know, it takes a grind and takes a grindy mindset. And fortunately, Pokemon is one of those games where if you are grinding, you can even do it on your lunch break. You'd be like, I'm just going to practice this one thing while I'm on lunch. It's not like these other people like, oh, I'm going to quit my job and play League of Legends for 16 hours because you can't. unless you have really nice parents or you have a nice trust fund. Most gamers will flat out tell you that they were working 8 hours a day and then playing League for 8 hours a day. And then on their days off, they were playing 16 hours a day.
16 hours is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, you also have to remember when you get really high up, I'd say probably 7 of those hours is just waiting on queue times.
Waiting on queue.
Yeah. But I really hope it goes good for you, man. I really do think that you're gonna make. I know you're gonna make progress because I know you love going to tournaments and stuff and conventions and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so
much fun.
At the very least, you're gonna be inspired because you'll be around like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
As long as that doesn't cut into the podcast time.
No, that's fair. No, I have a buddy, Dekel, who's my co-host on my other podcast. You met him. He's also trying to become pro as well. And so we're going to try to push each other to do that. And I have a good supporting cast around me with you and some of my other friends that I know that I can do it. I know that I got your guys' support and that if anything happens, I can always come back to you guys or, anything's always there. But the podcast is here. I don't know if you want to say it or I can say it, but we're going to try to not release, but we're going to record every Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday.
I'm going to get OBS straightened out and I'm going to stream it. And then we're going to set up our Discord at some point. And we're going to do this every Wednesday, hopefully stream every Wednesday and then probably release every Friday or Saturday. I'm thinking Friday's probably a good one.
I think Friday's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's a good day Friday.
I do apologize. We are figuring this out. I know for those of you who are probably watching this in the future going, what the fuck? First rule of content creation is never expect an audience until you've done 100 videos.
Exactly.
So until you hit 100 podcasts, I don't know. You're going to go back and watch these. You're going to be like, oh, wow, these are cringe. Or am I going to be back going, wow, what the fuck was I doing?
Facts. I feel that. And I've
done always
wide already. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we're always looking for creative criticism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe our audio needs adjusted. Oh, yeah. Well, you need to get a mic stand for starters.
Yeah, I know. Carrying this thing, it sucks.
Just in case you're wondering, he does give me a little bit of a headache having to adjust his audio levels.
I know. I plan on getting one here soon. So everything's coming together, you guys. With my podcast, the Double D podcast, I'm hoping to get those released on Tuesdays with recording on Mondays. I'm hoping that the other podcast group that we're with also wants to do more content with us.
Yep. That was a blast.
That was so much. The Anime Rumble was so much. And if you guys haven't go watch that, please just if you have any time, do it while you're driving or while you're cleaning. Put it on and listen to it because all of these beautiful people had such a good time and we all respected each other so much. And it was such a good talk. It was such a good debate that we are going to do more with one coming up next month. Actually, I was going to do one this month, but there's a lot going on. I don't have the time to do it. Next month, expect Anime Rumble 2 with some new topics, maybe some new people, but definitely, hopefully I can get everyone to return and maybe get some more people in there and have some more fun.
And gives you guys an extra month to give us some more ideas. Should we do a specific genre of anime? Should we do a specific anime and tear it apart? Should we do old era anime like Astro Boy? Should we do Dragon Ball and other shonen? Like, what do you guys want? And that's for
What
the
do you
Anime
guys
Rumble.
want to hear?
That's for the Anime Rumble. I'm also going to be putting together a pop culture thing. I have to find some people whose schedules, like, unfortunately, most of the people I know, their schedules are all over the place. So scheduling is always a big, huge conflict. Is find some people who want to talk about, let's say we'll do Star Trek, we'll do, fantasy stuff. We could even tear apart Lord of the Rings because there's a lot to tear apart and a lot to praise about that. We could probably do a podcast that equals the length of one movie. That might be a little long though.
Might be a little long.
A little bit long. But I look forward to these rumbles. I enjoy talking nerddom. I love being the grandpa bad guy. Get off my lawn. Those kinds of things. I'm pretty sure Ty was pretty done with me at the end of the last Anime Rumble.
Yeah, I think so.
She definitely looked like I agree with most of what he's saying, but those are some hard takes.
And which is great, which is why I'm glad that everyone was respectable about it though, and everyone was having a good time and it was having
it was a blast. It was a blast. I loved it.
So much fun. But that's all about I have. We can do some rants later. I just had a good time. I'm getting hungry, honestly. I need to get some food in my system.
All right, we're gonna let Kimmer eat instead of work because he's lazy.
Yes, sir.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Exactly. And Ash would say when his stomach was rumbling, it's time to stop battling and eat. So
I don't know.
Do it. No, I'm
this
just
is
kidding.
A guy who got electrocuted on a bike.
That is true. Wasn't it twice?
Yeah, but the thing is electricity doesn't work that way.
That's true. It also came out in the 90s. Come on, bro.
I came out in the 80s.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair.
On that note, guys, you have a wonderful time. We will see you in the next one. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more format, a little more structure, some more graphics and stuff that we're working on. Please check out our links below if you want to catch us on the Double D, if you want to catch us here on my channel at Blackstone Gaming. Please just hit us up, have some fun. That's all we're here for. And we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
One Piece?
One Piece.